Hi everyone. For those of you that are interested in geospatial data and seeing what we have going on in the Bahamas, I wanted to point y'all to this website, which is the National Transportation Safety Board of the United States. And they actually have some pretty interesting data about different aviation related accidents that have occurred in the US and its territories and in international locations, especially when the plane or the pilots are registered in the Bahamas, I mean, in the United States, or if they were involved in some of the investigations. So you could go and poke around and see if there's anything of interest to you there. So I searched for the Bahamas and I got 8 pages of data. The page sizes are about 50 reports per page. And so I got 395 items in 8 pages. So now let's switch to see what that data looks like in Excel. So if you look at the preview data, this is the preview data, and it just shows you a few of the columns. But when you go to the download, you can actually see that this has quite a bit of data in it. It has the NTSB number, so that's their numbers for record keeping. Event types, there's accidents, incidents, and they have some other abbreviations. Um, they also have the event date, which can be important if you want to sort and see if things are getting worse or if they're getting better, if maybe some navigation improvement has reduced accidents in a certain area. Obviously, the country will all be the same because that's the search that I did. But then you can look at these cities. The cities in their database don't actually have a state, which in the Bahamas we'd use islands. Does it have a safety report or a safety record? And a lot of these just say false. What was the report type? So some of these say none, but then some of these are director's briefs. Um, you have the original publication date. So you can see this was originally published on, it looks like November 2020, whereas the accident happened in 2013. So that's really interesting to see the difference between the accident date and the reporting date. You can see what type of planes they are. So if you wanted, you could sort by what type of plane to see which ones maybe crash more or which ones are involved in more accidents. Uh, Here you can also see who was the operator of that airline that was involved in the accident or the incident. And this could be of major interest to you if you're particularly worried about who you're choosing for your flights or if you're investing in an airplane or something like that. All right. So now, once you get this information, the cool thing is you can take that information. I'm going to close my Excel now. Yeah, that's good. You can save it. And I'm going to close this website because we don't need that. And when you're in Google Earth Pro, so I'm using Google Earth Pro, it's free. So use it for all your spatial data needs. You go to File and you can import your spreadsheet. So you can say, yes. No, I'm not going to do that right. Yeah, I could do that right now. So now you have all of these. You have its comma separated values. So it's delimited commas. Um, we can look at some of the previews of data here. Say next. It has latitude and longitude fields, so you just use those. And you can make sure that they're importing correctly. Latitude, longitude is there. And you hit next, it's going to pop up all of these different fields that are in there. All of those fields are actually strings, although they might look like numbers, and so they come up as integers. You can just change them to strings because although it looks like a number, it's not used to count or anything like that. Your fatal injury count, yes, that is definitely an injury. How many people died? How many people were seriously injured? Minor injuries. The probable cause, that's a string. So they describe what happened. And your event IDs are strings. And so I'm just going to go through a bunch of these and change those to make sure that they accurately represent the data that we are importing. And hit finish. Now, do you want to apply a style template to the features you ingested? Yeah, I want them all to look the same. So now the name, I want to set the name field from the NTSB number. I know they'll all be unique. The colors, I want to actually set the color from the field. And the field that I want to use is highest injury level. So when I click on that, I also want my colors to be red. So the worse the injury level, the darker it would be. When I come down here, I can see that it has a few categories. Fatal injury, none, minor, serious, and then there's blank space. So those that didn't have anything going on in there. Um, my serious injuries, I want them to be dark red. And bring it like two away from fatal. And the ones that say none, I want that to be down here, but I don't want it to be white because white is representing no data, those no data fields. So minor is a little bit darker than none. And we also want to look to see if if the numbers relate to what we saw inside the spreadsheet, which I think they do. Yes, let's use the same icon for all features. And I'm going to go down and find an airplane. Do, 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 do. And the height, we're going to clamp the features to the ground because it was a plane crash. That plane is no longer off the ground. All right. So hit OK. So now Google Earth Pro will allow you to save your template into your Google Earth Pro folder, or you can save it into whatever folder you want. And we're going to use this NTSB Aviation Accident Database, Google Earth Style Templates. Let's save. Wow. So now it's going to zoom out to the area that those airplane accidents cover. You can't see anything, any pins on the thing now because this radio box is not highlighted. So I'm going to select that. And now you see all the different locations pop up. I'm going to look at this one over here to see what's going on with this. Let's double click on that. So in this, it's saying that this latitude is 26.683. That's a Bahamian latitude, but the longitude looks weird to me. So now I'm actually going to hit properties. I'm going to fix this to, I think it should be 78, and that should bring us back into the Bahamas. So that must have been like a data recording error or something like that. And when I hit that now, I can double click on this and it should bring me back over there. Yeah, now it's surrounded by a bunch of other crashes. Here, you see this crash is happening over here, and this is actually the end of the runway right there. Oop. So these folks crashed into the bushes here. Let's see. We could zoom down. Well, I can't see any plane there, but that doesn't, maybe it was removed. Um, Hoot sweet. All right. What else did we see? We saw another one that was kind of like in a weird space. So we can go back up to this folder that we made, double click on it, and it's going to zoom us out again. And up here, we can see this one here. The pilot continued VFR flight into IMC and thunderstorm conditions, which resulted in spatial disorientation and subsequent loss of control of the plane. We can click on the docket URL and that'll give us some more information. And when we look at this, it says it was ditched into the Atlantic 14 miles west of Freeport, Bahamas. The pilot and five passengers sustained fatal injuries. So 14 miles west of Freeport, Bahamas, that is definitely not where that is showing up. Um, I'm going to leave that, the spatial data on that though, because I tried earlier and simply changing a couple numbers didn't really put it back um, in a location that would represent 14 miles west of Freeport. Okay, so let's go back to Google Earth and let's go and look at a different one. Let's look at something that was not fatal. So you can see inside this area, inside our folder, this one with the light blue, um, highest injury level, it doesn't have anything there. Um, Aircraft damage, substantial, but it looks like everybody walked away from that. Doesn't have a docket URL for more information. This one had serious injuries. Where are we now? We're in Arklands Island, and I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be Auckland's. Let's see, where are we? Yeah, we down by Auckland's. So again, sometimes you look at some of these international databases and they are not exactly accurate, or um, they haven't had input from a Bahamian or someone who could verify using our information or our understanding. So I just wanted to show you all that this is really easy to do. You can see where people get into accidents in the Bahamas. Boop, boop, boop. This is down south. It's probably not that much that many flights going in and out. When you get over here to New Providence, obviously this is our main airport, so people will be flying, or this is our main port of entry. So a lot of people will be flying in and out of there and stuff like that. Um, then we have Grand Bahama. I think Grand Bahama boy. So Grand Bahama's over here. So you'd have these crashes clustered around some different airports or landing places. And then I found these. Check these out. This is on Williams Island. But these ones do not show up in the database. So this was interesting to me because I can see these from the satellite images. Check that out. One, two, three. Three plane wrecks clustered on the same island. Um, in the dark, this might actually look like a runway. So I'm not sure like what got them in their situation, but in the dark, this strip of vegetated land might look like a pretty nice runway if you don't know what you're looking at. But who knows? So I thought y'all would like to see a little bit of what I do when I'm poking around with data and just looking at things that are going on, especially exploring international databases. And as we're going through these discussions of how do you get Bahamian information and data back into the Bahamas, how do we educate students and train people to understand, to find, and to use this data. And again, this is free. And I kind of just did this for fun, and you can too. All right. Hope you all have a great day and enjoyed that little bit of science and perspective.